online.com and citybusinessnews.com.
Thank you very much, Kojo. We've been told I'm going to be sharing a few thoughts around winning with the consumer and shopper. I would share insights, data that we at Nielsen have sourced by speaking with consumers and shoppers. And I also share perspectives from having worked across different markets in Africa, and share some parallels, particularly from Nigeria, because Nigeria and Ghana do have a history together, many things that are similar. And I dare say that what Ghana has gone through in the past 2 to 3 years from an economic standpoint, Nigeria also mirrors in certain ways. And as we proceed, I would share some of those parallels and some of the learnings. So what has happened to consumer purchasing power? The implication is there's been an erosion of the consumer disposable income. As a result of the power crisis, we've seen reduced productivity, there has been layoffs, there's been an increase in VAT on petroleum from 15% to 17.5%. There's been the removal of fuel and utility subsidies 7 times in fuel price since 2014. We've seen the depreciation and also the devaluation of the CD versus the US dollar, 48% decline in 2014, 16% in 2015. We've seen the cost of utility going up, power, 9.7% increase in 2014 and 2.6% in 2015. A similar situation for water, 6.8% and 6.1% in the course of 2014, and a low 1% increase in 2015. And inflation rose in the past 24 months from 13.8% to 17.7%, and the latest figure as of April is up to about 19%. Now that's significant impact because wages have not increased correspondingly as inflation. And let me also say that easily, without having said this is Ghana, this just mirrors exactly what has happened in Nigeria. Exactly the same situation. These 6 bullet points have exactly happened in Nigeria. So we have seen impact across. And in visiting some of the companies during the course of this week in Ghana, we're also seeing the impact of what's going on in Nigeria impacting upon companies in Ghana who source products from Nigeria. So there's no way across the sub-region that the issues of the economy in Ghana is not going to affect Nigeria one way or the other, or vice versa. And those are things that we as marketers have to be thinking about, because it's not just plain local, but it's plain regional and plain global, because things that happen in regional and global context will impact the local market. And I think that's very instructive for us in Ghana. What's the 2016 outlook? We expect that utility tariffs will remain high. We've seen an increase already in electricity tariffs, 59% the beginning of the year. Water at 67% increase after the relative stability that occurred in the 4th quarter of last year. There's been improved power supply, and that's important. The fuel increase in January 2016 of 27%, and in March 2016 of 5%. The exchange rate has stabilized, and that's a good thing. It's positive, and that ultimately will have an impact in terms of a stable inflation rate. So even though it's now up to 19%, but in terms of the acceleration month-on-month inflation, it is not happening as fast as it had in the previous 2 years. And that's really important, as I share later on, that when there's a sense of economic stability, even if there's still inflation, the consumer is a bit more confident, and it begins to react a bit more positively towards the goods and services that various businesses offer. And that links into this slide in terms of the cash outlay for Ghanaians. The basket for Ghana is actually one of the highest across sub-Saharan Africa. And just to explain how that is, so typically you're talking about a basket that contains white bread, rice, chicken, tomatoes, potatoes, and some of the basic essentials. And Ghana, cost of that basket is at $27.5. When you compare to a country like Uganda, which is just about $11, you see that that is significant. And in fact, comparing to Nigeria, that basket, Nigeria's basket is $21. So the consumer in Ghana is being hit by higher costs in terms of baskets. So I'll just run, for those who are listening, the most affordable basket price in Africa is Uganda at about $11. Lesotho is at $14.7. Swaziland at about $15. Kenya is at about $15, and South Africa is also at about $15. The least affordable basket is the South Sudan at $38.6, Angola at $33.57, the Democratic Republic of Congo is at $28.8, Ghana is at $27.5, and then followed by Cote d'Ivoire at $24.5. So the consumer in Ghana has a greater challenge in terms of issues around affordability, and that's something that, again, I will speak to a bit more later on.